Okay, so as you know, Vanguard units are by far and away some of the best units in the game. They do trump priority over other units like 95% of the time. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to rank the Vanguard units worst to best. This is gonna be my personal opinion. We're gonna go into the training mode. I'm gonna set them with the optimal trait and max amount of potential. I'm not gonna do no trait because if we were doing no trait, then the list would be completely and utterly different. And most of the Vanguard units, you want to get Monarch on them anyways. So I'm kind of just showing you what you're gonna have in the future since they did recently just add a very small pity to Vanguard like Monarchs. So let's go into training mode and I'm gonna go get into the first unit, which is the first Vanguard Diabolo. Okay, so before I actually show off the unit, I would actually like to read out its kit, and I want to see what the passives actually are and see if they're somewhat decent. So first we're gonna check out the first Vanguard unit ever in anime Vanguards, Diabolo. Most people don't have this character, including me. He's the only Vanguard I don't have because, man, that event was hell. The Down to Down event was genuine hell. But we're gonna go ahead and look at him real quick. Let's look at his passes. Let's see if he still holds up. It's been about over 7-8 months, give or take, since he's been released. So let's see if he's still viable, right? So first passive, we have the Court of the King. Damage plus 15 if there's a boss currently on the track. Damage plus 1 every time an enemy is slowed, up to 30%. Right? So, yes, he's kind of a boss killer. Not really though. Because, well, while his damage does get high, he is quite expensive. All the Vanguards are expensive, but it's a little different with him because he builds up kind of slowly. But let's continue. The slow, we're gonna see with the slow, we're gonna see if his attack actually slows people. If his attack slows people, then he'll be good for like a maps that spawn a lot of enemies very quickly. So let's go with the second passive, Epitaph of Tomorrow. 100% chance to dodge. Performs a counterattack that deals 50% of this unit's damage to the enemy that attacks. So I don't know if y'all played Dokkan before, but there's this unit called STR Vegeta. And what he does every time he dodges or he gets hit is he just counterattacks. That's basically what this passive is, but he's doing 50% of the unit's damage instead of the like, you know, full something. It's a 10% second cooldown. Now the problem with this passive is while there are some enemies in this game that do attack often, it's not very often that you come across those enemies that attack. They more so stun than attack. So while this passive is good, the damage, we're gonna see if the damage really holds up in that, right? The third passive, Complete Erasure, gains the ability to complete erasure, counterattacks during complete erasure, deals an additional 50% damage after complete erasure, ends all enemies are slowed by 50. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is this passive directly correlates with this passive right here. Now we're gonna see what upgrade we get this passive at for it to actually matter for this passive. So let's go in the game. Let's check out the unit. We're gonna go ahead and place him down. We're gonna go ahead and build up the unit real quick. We're gonna set the unit level to 60, obviously. You know, basic stuff. We're just gonna put Monarch on him. No ascensions, right? Max placement 1. Let's put it down to Diabolo, right? So Diabolo on placement Monarch. I believe he costs on placement 5k. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is for Gogeta, my fault. But on placement, I believe he costs about around 5k. Which is, it's cheaper than Escanor, but it's more expensive than all 3 of the other Vanguard units. But he does 63k on placement, which is pretty good. I would like his AoE to be a little bit fuller, but for this damage, you really can't complain, right? So the next upgrade, we have 86k, which is a pretty big jump in damage. Not really a big jump in range though, but the damage is still looking good. However, the range is a bit lackluster. All the passives they're already there, so he's doing his damage. I don't see any of the build up yet. I don't really see any of the units getting slowed. Let's turn on animations also. Let's turn on animations. So I don't see any of the units actually getting slowed within his range or him getting slow. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna buff the enemies multiplier here. I'll buff it by 100. Let's see if he slows down units. I'm gonna just put down a Itachi. Fuck it. Let's just put down a Itachi. So, I'm pretty sure he slows on attack. Not too sure. I kind of want to, like, I do want to see about that. Let's put strong. Let's put some strong enemies on. Let's put some strong enemies out there. Let's see how much he can really do. Upgrade 1. Okay, see, now you see a bit of the build up right now because he is doing his passives to Itachi, so he just went up about a couple thousand damages, which is pretty good. So on upgrade 2, which is 10,000, which is pretty expensive, he gets to 108k right here with his passive being active, which is pretty good, but you have to keep in mind how much he costs. And in game modes nowadays that are around wave 15 to 20, this really isn't that viable. But for long content, this could be pretty good because he's already getting high damage on placement and on very, very, very early upgrades. And with the longer events, you get money way faster. So Diabolo could be better for that. So on upgrade 3, we get a range buff. We get a bit of an SPA increase, and we get a damage increase by a little bit. AoE doesn't really change at all. He stays at the same AoE the entire time. Range is still about the same. It increased a little bit, but not too much. We're about to get the complete erasure right here. We're about to get it right here. So we're about to see what that does. Next upgrade doesn't really change that much. Upgrades the range just a little bit. AoE radius is still the same, so I don't like that much, because the other units' AoE range are just bigger. He is the first Vanguard unit though, keep in mind. SPA is lacking, and the fact that his range is just not that good, these units will eventually start leaking whenever they have start getting to more health. So I'm gonna start skipping waves. I'm gonna start skipping waves to get them higher health. But yeah, this is Diabolo. Let's go to the next. Let's go to the next upgrade, which we have a slight damage increase. Oh my god, the game is lagging. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I had to use the Kaga nuke just real quick because the game was getting very, very, very laggy. But yes, he has a line AoE right now. Not a big fan of the line AoE, especially since his range just isn't that big. I would like it if his range was just bigger, if he's gonna have a line AoE. Like if it was like 50 instead of 36, that would probably just be better. And his max upgrade is 217k. So Diabolo, he is a bit outdated. He is also better than a lot of other units, but I would have him as the worst Vanguard. Not saying he's a bad unit, but since most people don't already have him, he's already not really on the top priority list. I mean, whenever trading comes out, if you want to go ahead and snatch him for another unit, I mean, go for it. But personally, unless he gets a buff, and I mean like a pretty decent buff, I wouldn't really go for Diabolo. But before we go on to the next unit, I would like to try the complete erasure. It says it confuses all enemies in range. Enemy health regeneration is disabled. Enemies killed during complete erasure cannot spawn or split into more enemies. So Diabolo, he would be pretty good for the Buu Saga Legend stages. He'd be pretty good for that because the Buu infinitely regenerates for some reason. So he'd be pretty good for that. But other than that, this is a decent little ultimate right here. It's decent. It's not the best. He is going to get a damage range and He's gonna get a damage and range buff by 50%. So let's see what his stats look like after I hit this passive. Okay, so as everybody's going back, his damage just got increased by about 100k. I don't know if this is only gonna last while this is going on, or if this is gonna last the rest of the match. We're just gonna have to see. This animation does look really cool though. Okay, so his damage did get a buff. His damage did get a buff. No, it didn't. It really didn't. So yeah, this is by far, not by far, but at least in my opinion, this is the worst Vanguard unit. I don't really know how you can argue with this. This is the worst Vanguard unit. But let's move on to the third worst Vanguard unit, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, so the third Vanguard unit we have is Gogeta. Now, yes, this was my first Vanguard unit that I got. It took me about a month to get because of the non-pity. I think he is still pretty good because of his ability and his clone. His clone does, in my opinion, carry him because it literally is doing double the damage. But let's move on to his passives. So, gotcha. 10% chance to 10% chance every attack to not attack. If he does not attack, he instead slows enemies and raises damage by 5% up to 50%. So this right here is kind of a double-edged sword, because on one hand, if you're not struggling with a map whatsoever, you're not close to the tower, like the enemies aren't close to the tower whatsoever, Gogeta, this slow ability is actually fairly good. However, if you are struggling, I wouldn't recommend using this guy Gogeta that much at all. Let's go to the next passive, the Monkey King. Anytime this unit attacks, a clone will appear mirroring the last attack this unit made. Now this is really what carries him, because whatever you see on his damage, it's getting doubled because of his clone, which is why I think he is still viable to this day. With Monarch though, not without Monarch. Instant teleportation. This ability it's kind of like Kaguya's, but instead of Kaguya doing it herself, Gogeta, you have to use the actual ability. But this, well, no, Kaguya still gives herself buffs, but this also, you get a decrease in SPA by 20 seconds and 20% for 20 seconds. So it's like you can just keep repeating this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's pretty cool. He is meta DPS. He's a very good DPS unit. Let's see how he looks in action. I have him on Deadeye, so we're gonna have to select him. We're gonna put down the Gogeta right here. So upgrade 0, he's doing 10k, but remember the clone is doubling his damage, literally doubling his damage. So we have I don't believe we can lose, right? I don't believe we can lose at Sandbox. So we have 10k on placement, double that with the clones is 20k. So he's doing around 20k right now, which is pretty good for a placement. Keep in mind he is very cheap. He only costs 1200. So I think this is good. He's doing around if we multiply this by 2, he's doing around like 3k something. 3.7 3.9k, somewhere around here DPS on upgrade 0. We're just gonna skip to the golden parts because I do know on Gogeta's the green parts aren't really that important with him. Upgrade 2, he gets the first massive jump in damage with 21k. Keep in mind the clones, so he's really doing around 40 something to 42k. Pretty good. He's doing around 6k DPS right now. He just slowed. He just used his ability. If you can't tell, the enemies are being slowed. This ability right here, it just lowered his SPA by 20%, so he's doing around 8k DPS now. So if you are playing manually and you're not doing a mango, this is a pretty decent character. Upgrade 3, he's doing 30k right now. With clones, 60k. He's doing 60k he's doing 60k damage every 5.9 seconds. With the teleportation, he's doing 60k every 4.7 seconds. So with teleportation, he's doing around 12k DPS every second, literally, because DPS. Like he's very meta with DPS. The only problem with him is he doesn't have any status effect ailments. Like he can't just negate himself from that. So that's like the main problem with him. But his DPS is never really in question with Gogeta. Let's go here. This is another major increase in damage. He's doing 38k. You already know with the clones he's doing more than that. So we can just move on to right here. He's doing around 57k with clones. This is about 100k already. So keep in mind, he is fairly he's not cheap by any means, but he's cheaper than Diabolo. So he's doing 100k on upgrade 6. Very, very good. You can do this on like wave 15 maps. So this is pretty good. Let's check out his animations real quick. His animations are pretty cool. I'm pretty sure yeah, okay. Let's put on right here. Let's check out his animations. It's just a little hit, a little combo. Looks pretty cool. All right, so let's go a little bit further. Upgrade 9, he's doing around 104k damage every 7.2 seconds, equating to around 200k with the clones, 14k DPS. So right now we're doing around 29k DPS, which is very, very good. DPS is off the fucking charts right now, clearly. Let's move on to this next one. He's doing around 170k. This is gonna put him at around 300k DPS with the clones, putting him at around 40k DPS right now, which is fairly good. I like that for Gogeta as just pure DPS unit. If you want him on your team, I would recommend using him. If there's a stage with like no 20-second, 10-second stuns, I would recommend using Gogeta. He's a very good DPS unit. Let's go to the max upgrade though. Now he's doing 189k. He's doing around 300 something k damage right now. 40 something k DPS. 8.1 second. The SPA is a bit long, but you have to, look at the damage. The damage kind of makes up for the SPA. The AoE he has is a cone. Again, I'm not a big fan of the cone AoE. Some people like the cone AoE. I personally don't. But I don't like it that much. With the ability, he's doing 197k, so he's actually doing around around 400, near 400k damage. He's doing around 60k DPS every 6.5 seconds. So if you really know if you really manually play, you can really get this done. And keep in mind the passives with 10% chance to not attack every time. He does continuously get buffed, so he's good for short maps and long maps. Overall, while he is the third worst Vanguard, I still think he is a very viable unit to use today. Also, keep in mind, they will forever be buffing Vanguard units, so I don't think it's ever a bad idea to be spinning Monarch on this guy if you have him. So, yeah, this is Gogeta. Let's move on to the next unit. Okay, so now we have the newest of the Vanguard units that have just gotten released, which is Escanor. Escanor is a very good unit in my opinion. He costs 7,500 to place. Obviously we all know his big weakness, which is the shields. Now if you're running shields, obviously don't put this guy down. He's not going to be that useful. But everything else, he's fairly good. So let's go ahead and read his passives. As you can see, there's a clear stark difference from what they were making Vanguards back in the day to now, because this is damn near a paragraph. So let's get into it right here. This is about to be very long. Whew, okay, the one above all. One on the pre-match screen, the player can select burn unit slots. Burned unit slots cannot be used. For every slot burned or empty team slot, permanently gain a 1 hour stack. If all slots are burned or you have no other units equipped, this unit will upgrade itself every wave and become free to place. So this is also a double-edged sword, because in most game modes, you want to use all your units. Escanor is kind of promoting you to use only him and him. He's promoting you to just purely use him. Some modes this could be good because he can actually solo rifts if they don't have shields. He can solo rifts though, so this is pretty good. Just know he cannot solo some legend stages for some reason. So high noon. For every wave that passes, this unit gains 1 hour stack. For every hour stack, this unit gains 15% damage at 1.5% range. While at 12 stacks, this unit gains plus 30% damage to all enemies in range. Gets inflicted with burn for 2% of this unit's damage for 5 seconds. every second upon hitting 12 stacks. Every wave lowers stack count by 1. So this means he is a build-up unit. If you're running wave 15s, he can be used and he can be good, but he's really mainly meant for like wave 30 events, the summer portals, the portals in the future. That's what you mainly want to use Escanor for. This is what this passive is, high noon. We'll get into the stacks later whenever we're actually showcasing it. Sunshine. Attacks inflict burn for 30% of this unit's damage for 5 seconds. If an enemy leaves this unit's range, this unit will inflict that enemy with burn for 100% of this unit's damage for 5 seconds. Anytime this unit inflicts burn on an enemy, cleanses all debuffs and status effects from self. So, what this means is he's a major burn unit. He will basically disintegrate anything in his range. This is very good, obviously. I don't really know if I have to explain why this is good. Burn damage is good in this game, especially with all the regen that they put in this game. Burn, bleed, and rupture are very good in this game. So if you have a burn unit, you're going to be good. You're going to be set off. I'm not sure if they have the special ability. Here we go. So his first ability, it deals. He has a nuke. It's a nuke. It's a nuke. I don't have to explain it. It's a nuke. Now this one is where it gets interesting, right? So he tests himself at a 12-hour stack, and he gets a fuck ton of damage. No Monarch, he can do what Diabolo was doing, which is pretty fucking good. And he has a better rank, and he has a better AOE. So it's like there's tiers to this. There's Diabolo, Gap, Gogeta, Gap, Escanor, and then we're gonna see more of the gaps. The main problem with this is he does sell himself after 5 waves, so you kind of want to use him like towards the end of the waves, like near the boss battles and stuff. You kind of want to use it like near there. But overall, this is a very good unit. Now let's go ahead and see him in action. Let's go ahead and put him down. Monarch, obviously. Oh, I don't think they have him yet. Yeah, they don't have him yet, but luckily I have him. So we're gonna showcase him right here. Obviously, Marksman isn't the best showcase for him. You know, with Monarch, he's doing about 1 million damage with the buff. So we'll see how he's doing right here. So upgrade 0. This is traitless. These are pretty like bad stats. He's doing 30. He did 27k on placement. He's doing a 31k on placement right now. 7.5k SPA, 7.5 SPA, 4.2k DPS. Pretty good. I don't like. Well, no. Okay. You know what? This actually isn't bad. He has a circle and then it extends out to a cone. So the attack extends past his range, which I do like about him, because a lot of these units don't do that. So let's go ahead and go over to the next upgrade where he gets his nuke. He gets up to 39k damage, which obviously isn't a big increase in damage, but he does get a massive increase in his range. He gets a wide cone AoE, not a massive wide cone AoE, but he gets a wider cone AoE. He attacks most of these enemies in this area right here. Kind of like puts down his axe. Don't think much to say about here. The stack isn't really stacking right now, so we'll have to just wait for the build up there. Move on to the next. Now we have 44k. Again, the damage isn't really getting that high yet because of the stack. So we'll skip a couple. We'll skip like a couple waves just to show off the stacks that he'll bring up. Let me there we go. Skip a couple waves. Let's get the stacks up. Yeah, let's bring it right here. So as you can see, every wave he is getting built up. So if you put him down at around, for long events where you get more money, if you put him down at around wave 4, he's gonna be getting. Thank you. For around most of these waves, he's gonna be getting buffed. But if for wave 15s, I wouldn't recommend it. Well, you can use them; he'll still be good. but he won't be as good as like a wave 30 or a wave 20. But he is still getting built up. As you see, he just got like a 4K DPS buff right there. He's doing 13K DPS right now. You know, he's doing pretty good right now. Let's just go up here. He's doing 168K, no Monarch, which is actually absurd. He's doing, it's a 10-hour stack. He has it's 8.4 second XPA. Massive circle AoE, by the way. Very massive circle AoE. Massive range. 75 range, which is like crazy. Like, holy hell, the game is lagging. That's how bad it's going. But yeah, he's doing a bunch of damage. He has a nuke. I'm gonna just hit the nuke. See how it looks. He should decimate everybody in this range. Yeah, he decimated most of everybody in this range. Again, his circle AoE is massive. Range is just off the charts. It's actually absurd. So max upgrade, he has ultimate. I'm gonna just pop it right now. It buffs his damage by about 100k. So what, 50% right there. He's doing 31k DPS every 30k DPS. He's doing 262k damage every 8.4 seconds with 82 range. Range is crazy. I can't lie about that. The range is just crazy. He's a good overall unit. There are just some units that were made before him that are busted, and I just can't leave them at the top 2. So now that we're here, let's move on to the 2 best Vanguard units in the game. Okay, so the second best Vanguard unit, in my opinion, is Jin-Woo. Now, honestly, with him and Kaga, you can go 1A, 1B with this, because they are good in their own situations. One supports more, one does more damage. But we're about to see. This is why. Now, I have Jin-Woo at number 2. You could honestly put him at 1. You can put Kaga at 1. I don't care about 1 and 2. 1 and 2, to me, this is 1A, 1B. I have him at 1B right now. It could change in the future, though. So, Jin-Woo. The arm supply. When the unit spawns a summon, loses 40% of his total mana. When an enemy is defeated, gains 2% of the total mana. So obviously, this is when it summons. You know, when he does damage, he gets mana. He can summon. You know how the summons work. I don't have to explain this one. The general, when an allied summon dies in this unit's range, he gets a damage increase. After this unit attacks, it resets this damage increase. So he gets a damage buff and it gets a reset. So he keeps resetting himself and buffing himself every time. If this unit summons are on track, he does get a damage buff and a range buff. So if you don't have Monarch on Jin-Woo, you can always have a buff Jin-Woo, but it's also just not going to be as much damage as the Monarch. So I would just probably try to spend Monarch on him. Now the Monarch, literally a passive, he summons, gains additional health based on percentage of mana remaining after their summon. So you want 100 mana. You want to spawn Belu. The shadows itself are a whole other thing. We'll get into that whenever I actually showcase them. But let's show off the grindable Vanguard unit, Jin-Woo, real quick. So let's get him real quick. Let's grab him. Well, before I do this, let me reset because my game was lagging like hell. So let me select the unit. We'll select down Jin-Woo. Oh yeah, okay. Let me add my yen. Okay, there we go. All right. Let me put down Jin-Woo. So on placement, he's doing 28k damage, 4k DPS. Every 6.8 seconds, he's doing 28k. 30 range, small AoE circle, pretty normal for a unit. Now this is where he gets. This is where we're gonna walk into it. Now the attacks, he has 3 nukes. We all know this is absurd. He has 3 fucking nukes. That doesn't need to go without explaining. He's fucking great. He has 3 nukes. While it's not a full map nuke, it's in his range. It's 3 nukes. If you can't manage to win a game with this guy with Monarch somehow with 3 nukes, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Now this this Arise ability more so goes with his one passive, which I'm gonna pull up right here. This ability more so goes along with, let me close this real quick, I don't need this. This ability goes along with right here, so you really want to, if you want to activate this passive right here, you kind of want to hit Arise a lot. I'm not gonna showcase this. I'm sure y'all know how that works. The bear is just a big ass bear. It goes slow. It has a bunch of health. It takes a lot of the enemies. Steel, it's a good if you just want it for like if you just want guaranteed damage, because it's just gonna stand there and just tank all the enemies. Healer, you really want to use the healer with Belu, because the Belu and the healer, they're gonna just walk through. And Beru, the strongest of the summons, a 5% max HP. Subsequent Belu summons by this unit up to 200% and 5%. So Belu is the attack unit of this bunch. He attacks himself, and he also buffs Jin-Woo himself. So you wanna run the healer with Beru, and with the damage that Jin-Woo himself is gonna do, this is just a great combo all around. So you want to use these units right here. So let's go ahead and upgrade this unit, and we'll see how good his damage is. Right, so upgrade 4, he's doing around 37k damage. He has a, well, right here he got it, but he has a wide Konoe. I actually do like this because most of the time he's doing a lot of damage, so it clears him out anyways. He's doing pretty good damage right here, 8.4k DPS. It's obviously very good. He's doing 65k DPS right now every 5 seconds, 12k DPS. With summons, this would be, I'm pretty sure this would be at like 80k, upgrade 6. So let's just get him to max upgrade. I'm sure we just want to see what this is like. So he's doing 168k DPS right now. Obviously, this is a little bit lackluster, but if we summon the shadows, he's going to be doing a lot more damage after these guys die because of his passive. He's going to be doing around 200. He's going to be doing around 300k. Now, I don't know if I want to show that because it's going to take a minute. As look, his damage is climbing to unforeseen heights right now. Not unforeseen, but it's about to climb to unforeseen heights. But he's going to be doing around 300k damage pretty soon. 7.2k SPA, pretty good. On top of this, he's immune to status ailments. That makes him already a top unit in the game. When you're immune to status ailments, you want to have the unit on your team because this game is littered with enemies that have status ailments. So the fact that there's units that don't have status like that can just negate that, you want to use them. So 1B to me. Now let's move on to the best unit, in my opinion. Let's go to her passive right now. Okay, so Kaga, the Spring Portal Vanguard. In my opinion, the best unit in the game. Now, I do think there's a close between her and Jin-Woo, but in my opinion, I think she is the best unit in the game. Not only because anybody on her team, she just takes their elements, which is already a great thing to have, because you can just put all the Vanguard units together and she can have the Unknown ability, which is fucking busted. Her passives and her ability itself is just good. So, let's read her passives. Master of Dimensions. When this unit activates a new dimension, increases damage by 20% and range by 10%. This buff resets when the same domain repeats in cycle. God of Shinobi. If an ally in range has a meter, this unit attacks, restore that meter by 2% per attack. So, basically, what the devs decided to do is make her completely compatible with Jin-Woo, the other best unit in the game. So if you have both of these units, you're pretty much fucking set for the game. I don't see how you lose whatsoever. On attack, teleports to the nearest applicable location of the attack. This is disabled when a dimension is active. When a dimension is activated, attacks the first enemy and move them to regardless of their spots on the map. So think of Gogeta, how you have to manually move it. She does that by her fucking self. She is the consummate AFK unit of Vanguards by far, and it's really not even close. Elemental Affinity. This unit is counted as an element currently on the team. If this unit swaps to a dimension and it matches an element already applied to this unit gains plus 50% damage for the duration of the domain. Like, what the fuck? This is crazy. So I don't. Okay, I read the passive. You read it. I read it. Let's see the actual unit in action. Let's put her at Monarch. Let's go ahead and put her down. So on placement, I'm gonna use dimensions right now because in most games you're just gonna activate it anyways. So with dimension, the first is fire. It buffs the damage by 47k. She is gonna start moving around. Does she just glitch? Oh no, she just went all the way back here. Let me just doze my way over here. So she's doing 47k every 4.5 seconds. Now she's doing, and it just went down because of the elemental affinity. But this is still very good damage on placement. She only costs 3.5k, so she's not cheap, but she's not expensive. She's killing everybody on the map with her elemental infinity. The way I have to run around is absurd, but she kills everybody on the map with her elemental infinity. So she's doing passive damage as well as just her main damage. Let's upgrade her to her next big thing. So upgrade 4, she's doing 93k on elemental affinity. Non-elemental affinity, she's doing 77k every 5.4 seconds, 14k DPS. Keep in mind, she's also supporting other units while doing this, and she can also increase Sung Jin-Woo's mana bar, so they pretty much go hand in hand. Let's go to the next big upgrade right here. Upgrade 8, she's doing 319k with the elemental affinity. We're about to see what she does without it, but with it on, she has 6.3k SPA. Without it, well, you're seeing the numbers. You saw the numbers. Without it, she's doing 30k DPS. Upgrade 8. You actually can get her close to max on wave 15. I've done it before. She's doing 236k. Monarch. Upgrade 8. That's pretty fucking good. That's all I'm saying. Well, let's get to the next big upgrade. She's doing around 315k damage right here. I don't really think I have to explain much about why I think she's the best unit in the game. She can take on multiple elementals. She can be multiple elementals. She is a support unit, but not only is she a support unit, she's also a meta DPS right now. I don't ever really see her falling out of meta, considering she's also a Vanguard unit. So, yeah, this was my list of how the Vanguard unit should be ranked. Now, if you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments. If you like the video, leave a like. Please do subscribe because I'm getting close to 500. So please just do subscribe. I would appreciate it. But yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all next time, man. Peace.